to tonight's episode of Undercurrent. I'm Lucy, and first up this evening we have two things that I never would have thought went together: oyster mushrooms and coffee. Let's see what our journalist Laura found out about these two and how well they go together.
Who was going to think that this could transform the way we obtain food? 100% local as your own house if you wish, and recycling coffee waste. I am with Julia Mitchell, who belongs to Cykel with Ryan Creed, who unfortunately cannot be with us today. And they are going to create the first urban mushroom farm in Australia. But how are coffee grounds going to help you to achieve this?
Yeah, it's a great one because typically mushrooms and oyster mushrooms are grown from sawdust and straw, but we can do the same with coffee waste because through the natural brewing process, the coffee grounds are sterilised and have a lot of vital nutrients that we can use to grow the oyster mushrooms. There is actually an abundance of coffee waste. So within Fremantle there's over 150 coffee stores, each one producing at least 40 kilos a week of coffee waste. So that equates to about 300 tonnes of coffee waste a year, which usually goes to landfill, so there's an abundance there for us to use. So we're going to be riding around on our bike with our trailer, collecting the coffee waste from all the local stores in Fremantle. So there's over 150 in the greater Fremantle area. So there's an abundance of coffee waste that we can collect. I'm not sure how much we can carry on our bike, but we'll see how we go.
Your mushroom box, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the mushroom box will produce mushrooms within 14 days. So you take it home and you just mist it twice a day. And after that, you'll have gourmet oyster mushrooms growing out of the box. And that's great to connect people to growing food again and connecting kids with nature and seeing the process and the life cycle of a mushroom.
The Roasted Warehouse is one of the places here in Fremantle who are helping Julian and Ryan getting all that coffee waste to grow gourmet oyster mushrooms. Natalie, what do you think about Julian and Ryan's project of growing oyster mushrooms with coffee waste?
It's a really good project. I think it's really free-oriented. It's something that's thinking outside the box, and I think it's really amazing, and it's something that people would be very responsive to, and they really like it. It's, like I said, very, very free-o.
I thought it was absolutely a great idea. It really ticks all of the boxes when it comes to sustainability. Locally grown produce, they're harvesting a waste product that would otherwise go to landfill, and then they're recycling at the end into compost. So it's a fantastic project.
And what makes these gourmet oyster mushrooms so special compared to the other ones more common, such as the portobello mushrooms or butter mushrooms that we can find very easily in the supermarkets?
Yeah, probably the first thing is that without being too biased, they are a lot more tastier, a lot more delicious, the gourmet mushrooms. Mm-hmm. But as well as that, they have a lot more nutritional benefit in terms of B vitamins, vitamin D, magnesium, iron and calcium. So the oyster mushroom is also known as the vegetarian steak because of its nutritional benefits.
As soon as Julian and Ryan are bringing us some mushrooms, which I'm really excited about, it's a bit like a teaser, you know, they're telling you they're doing that, but you haven't tried it yet, so I can't wait to try it. We'll work on the dish with the chef, maybe on a special or something, because it's really important for people from Fremantle to have something from Fremantle, so I think it will be a plus for everybody. Yeah, so looking forward to that.
So what do you think are the environmental benefits which can come out of this project?
A lot of people don't really realise how much carbon's associated with food. Just as an example, I went to pick up coconut water from the supermarket and I had a look and it was Thai coconuts, processed in Germany, distributed out of Victoria, Australia to me in Perth. And that's crazy. There's 4 countries associated with that, plus all the packaging to give me 150 mils. So this project is bringing all of that produce right into our neighbourhoods. I think of the times that I trudge into a big supermarket and I buy carrots wrapped in plastic. I don't know where they come from. I'm completely disconnected from that food, but I know when I grow something in my garden, I care so much more about it. You know, that's something that I've put time and effort into, and I think that's what this project is doing. It's really going to connect people with food and with being healthy and with community again. I think that's a great bonus of it as well.
The crowdfunding campaign has been a really enjoyable experience. We've had a lot of support from the local people, friends, family, and even people from the east coast of Australia and even overseas. So it's been great in terms of getting that support, and we hope to reach our goal of 30,000 so we can kick this project off. There's a number of rewards on the website from workshops around biodiesel workshops or urban beekeeping, purchasing t-shirts, business sponsorships, buying the mushroom kit, and that may not be for yourself, it may be for a classroom at your local school, or it may be for your grandchild or a family member as a present. So all of that goes towards getting the mushroom farm off the ground. The coffee shops have loved the idea because it's a waste product for them, and they're carting it off to landfill, which is a real waste of a valuable nutrient. So they're excited to be able to give it to us to grow food, which they may again sell in turn in their stores. As well as that, some restaurants or a lot of local restaurants are excited, and local chefs are excited to be able to eat local and cook local food. It's a lot tastier and a lot fresher, and their customers are going to love that.
Laura Noble reporting for Undercurrent.
This week, the heart of Perth's media industry gathered together for the 2015 WA Media Awards. Unfortunately, I didn't get an invitation, so I'm going to be joining you guys on the couch, putting my feet up and seeing who won the awards.
Well, tonight for Undercurrent, we are at the WA Media Awards, recognising outstanding work in WA journalism, photography and production crew. There's a lot of excitement in the air as we wait to see who the winners are.
I'm just going to step out. Oh, they've shot him.
Very excited. I'm very keen to see who wins.
You sort of forget how much work is done over a 12-month period, all the stories across print and TV, and it's actually, sometimes it jogs your memory when you actually see some of the finalists up.
It's a tradition, and I think that's something that you feel after a period of time, that you are honouring a tradition, and it plays a very important part in the industry.
These awards, by definition, celebrate great storytelling. They celebrate creative work, investigations, the very best of our journalism. It's the work that keeps pumping nutrient-rich information through our democracy's veins, and so it rightly deserves the very best awards that we can bestow upon them.
And the winner is Carl Nelson, 7 Network Bunbury Siege.
I'm just going to step out of shot now and get my cameraman Carl Nelson to zoom in to give you a little bit of a look at what we can see.
Now you're watching live pictures of the siege that's just come to an end.
To get that close, the police let us to get that close, and we heard the gunshots go off. It was rubber bullets, so we heard 3 bangs. And yeah, it was just like looking through the viewfinder. It was quite amazing to see them drop to the ground. So, and then they had the lasers trained on them, which was part of the guns. So yeah, it was quite an amazing piece of vision, yes.
Kathy O'Leary, 7 West Media for the love of Riley.
Kathy O'Leary's report had a widespread and significant impact, which forced the state government to act. The issue was also handled with sensitivity and respect to the family. Its greater impact was highlighted by the positive feedback from the medical profession.
Categories for the best health report, and mine was for a story I did on vaccination, particularly the death of Riley Hughes, who was a baby who died of whooping cough. And I think the story exposed deficiencies in the vaccination program.
And the winner is Grant Wynn, 7 News Perth for the Carlisle Siege. There he is. Thanks, mate.
While the police commissioner was saying this,
and they took action as they've been trained to take,
the officers were under arrest.
While all Perth news outlets comprehensively reported the fatal Carlisle siege, it was Grant Wynn's reporting 2 days later which would lead to policy change and reform within WA Police.
The second report that I entered was exclusive revelations about the police officers who were forced to shoot the hostage taker to save the hostage's life, ended up being arrested by their own colleagues, other police officers, and they were detained. In fact, one of the officers wasn't able to wash the blood off his hands for about 3 hours while police investigated it. I remember the Premier, Colin Barnett, coming out the next day and saying it was outrageous and that would never happen again in Western Australia. And I guess the pleasing thing about my work is that it's led to major reform within WA Police and how they treat police shootings. And one of those police officers that actually had to make that decision to shoot the hostage taker to save the hostage's life came up to me and said, "Thank you very much for your responsible reporting."
And the winner is Jonathan Barrett, Australian Financial Review.
It is just the greatest of privilege to report the news and tell the news and tell people what's happening, and that's a terrific privilege.
Well, what a fantastic media awards. I'm Nadia Hunter, reporting for Undercurrent.
Refugees have been hand-selected by our government agencies from the Syrian refugee camps to be relocated here in Western Australia. Weddy has taken to the street and she will be finding out exactly what the people here think.
This is a time for all of us to be at our very best, to have big hearts, to think about this issue wisely, to empathise thoughtfully, and to get a better understanding of the situation and the implications it has for many people there.
They should all be helped. We need to help them. We'd want them to help us, wouldn't we?
There's enough Australians here and other people from other countries that need the support first. I mean, yes, I do feel for these people as well, but...
No problems with me.
Yes, because they haven't got a home.
Bring them all in, but then when they get their place fixed, they can go back home.
I'm really not across this issue, but I think in principle I agree.
I think it's almost a duty as compassionate human beings that we look after one another.
Well, I'm not against it. Obviously these people need to be resettled, and I think it's okay for Australia to play its part.
I just think that we have to do our share of the problem, you know what I mean? We can't ignore it.
No, only very high level, but I would say why not take a lot more?
Well, I think these things need to be taken into account. I think 20,000 is manageable though.
I think they should do what they can to help. I'm not sure about the economy. I've only been here a year myself, so I'm not really sure about that.
I think the economy will suffer, and I think the taxpayers are going to suffer.
I mean, I've only read a few things about them, but from what I can tell, they're political refugees, not so much, not saying that one's better than the other, but I think they might affect certain things in certain ways, but I don't think that would be one of the effects.
I don't imagine it'd have a material impact on the Australian economy, and there will come a point in time where these people start contributing back to the Australian economy as well. So surely there'll be net benefit in the long term.
I think everyone has, can be productive and work together.
It would be great, like, if they, instead of taking all your clothes to op shops and things, like, I'm sure that people would have a lot of items they could take and toys and all sorts of things, so they should do, like, a call out to the community. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Now it's time for a short break so we can hear from our very important station sponsors. This week, the WA Watercolour Association celebrated 35 years with a grand exhibition at the Italian Club in the waterfront in Fremantle. Nadia had the pleasure of attending. Let's see how the evening went.
Today for Undercurrent, I'm at a watercolour exhibition and awards night held in our lovely Fremantle. What an amazing exhibition and also an awards night.
It certainly is. This is our annual awards night, obviously held once a year. And we're really pleased to be in the Italian Club in Fremantle for the 10th year running.
And how long have the awards been going for?
35 years. That's as long as the Watercolour Society of Western Australia has been in existence. We've actually got a West Australian lady member who's living in Queensland, and even she sent 2 paintings over.
Oh, that's dedication, isn't it?
It is, definitely, yes. We have wonderful members like that, yes.
And talk to me about some of the categories for the awards night tonight.
Okay, the major category is the overall winner award, which is obviously the best in show. The next one, I suppose, is the general award. The majority of paintings go into the general category. We have over 180 paintings in the general category. And obviously that's sort of almost like a second prize to the overall winner. Then we have our special category, which is different every year. And this year we are really pleased that Fremantle Ports have sponsored it. The Fremantle Ports, it's the Fremantle Working Port category, and they gave us specific instructions on what they wanted it to be, and we have 30 entries for that. Then there's the Still Life Award, it speaks for itself, again 30 entries, and then the Innovative Award, which is for the innovative use of watercolour painting. And each of those paintings that are in that category have an explanation by the artist of why it's an innovative painting.
Your presence here tonight, are you here to support an artist? Or
Definitely, indeed. Yeah. Yes, here to support the lovely Dana Shave, who's just here now. I find her art is very specific, very detailed, and at the same time she's able to blend her colours beautifully. So I do really like her work. It's really lovely, yeah.
Yes, yeah, no, we bought a few paintings, there's some beautiful. We always try to get here early too, because the first couple of years we came, we thought we'd buy that, but they all had red knots on them. So now we make sure we get here first night, you know. Yeah. Yeah, no, but there's some stunning work here.
I believe I'll be doing a couple of things, and I will be presenting some of those tonight as well. I'm not sure all the detail, you'll have to ask Susan that, but I'll have the great pleasure of opening the exhibition. And when I look around and see the watercolours and the detail in them, and the textures and the stories and the depth that it presents, I just get enthralled by them. So I have some at home as well, so that I can enjoy. And they're by artists from this group, so I'm pretty proud of them.
Congratulations, David.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Talk me through how you created this.
Basically, this is the South Perth. It's the old mill. And I live across the road from there, and I've been going to do this painting open air for quite a while. One day I was basically short of time to go down to Fremantle, and I thought, right, I'll just go across the road and paint it. And the light was right, and I just went across, and here we are. It just turned out right, you know.
Jude, congratulations, overall winner of the entire exhibition.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much. It's so exciting. And it's such an honour, because I think looking around tonight, the other artists have done such an amazing job. So I feel very, very privileged to win the honour of overall prize.
Lucy, congratulations, winner of the Still Life category.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed painting this a year ago. I saved it specifically for this exhibition. And I don't normally put in for a still life. And the first time I've done it, I've won first prize, so I think I might have to do it again.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's great, really great. It's an honour, actually, to win it. Yeah, an absolute honour. Watercolour is the most wonderful medium to use, because you let the watercolour work for you. You don't have to work it. It works for you. And as you can see, the sorts of things that you can get with the watercolour is quite amazing. So I'm very happy that this has won an award, and it encouraged me to do some more still life, I think, too, and to teach my students more still life.
I'm Nadia Hunter, reporting for Undercurrent.
FIFO, fly in, fly out, is a term that this generation is growing up with. Our video journalist Jessie is finding out what FIFO work's really all about.
Each year, the mining industry in Western Australia contributes to a large percentage of the state's total income. The Department of Mines and Petroleum's most recent annual report explains that despite the annual decline in the industry, the total value of production remained high, growing from $43.2 billion to $99.5 billion in the last 10 years. With most sites being located in regional areas in Western Australia, fly-in, fly-out employment is preferable for many companies, considering the lack of infrastructure at the mining locations.
Been working FIFO for about 5 years now. Been working in mining for 3 years.
Mining, I've been in about 11 years, 10, 11 years, and FIFO about 7, eh?
We often hear about the negatives of fly-in, fly-out employment, the long hours, extreme weather conditions, and being away from loved ones for extended periods of time. However, there are also a number of positives to fly-in, fly-out, aside from just the pay benefits. I spoke with some current fly-in, fly-out employees to understand their take on the positive aspects of this kind of work.
Lifestyle for me, having a week off, having 6 weeks of holidays a year, essentially only working just over half a year. I like that part of it the best.
Camp lifestyle's good, full strength beer would be better.
Yeah, I know everyone would say, the people you work with, but for me it's like you get free PPE, so how expensive glasses are.
I like having the time off, and it gets me away from Perth. It keeps me out of trouble.
Nah, just joking. Mine's pretty much the people I work with.
I think it's great to get a week off of quality time, and I sort of can do whatever I want in that time. I live over interstate, so it's quite a bit of travel, but it still works out worth it for me to go back home. I get to catch up with friends and loved ones and that, and I have sort of 6 days uninterrupted to do whatever I want. Get a lot of annual leave as well, which is great, so I can do a lot of travelling and that sort of thing. Just sort of suits my lifestyle down to a T.
Well, I never get caught up in traffic. I'm pretty much my own person up here. I associate with a whole bunch of guys after work. It's just a great lifestyle.
These days, the facilities at a lot of the mining camps are similar to that of a holiday village. The facilities can include cricket pitches, beach volleyball courts, basketball courts, gymnasiums, putting greens, wet messes, and many more.
Yeah, I actually enjoy it. There's great facilities. I enjoy keeping active, so there's a few sports facilities. We've got cricket nets, golf nets, volleyball, swimming, footy oval, gym. So I try to go to the gym every day and play squash as well. But yeah, had the odd game of tennis and soccer and cricket as well. It's pretty good. Yeah, good facilities.
Well, you don't really get much time, to spend at home, so it's kind of, you get home, I've got a wife and kids, so I'll just kind of give them a call, and that's pretty much my end of my days.
Yeah, the camp we're at now is not the best lifestyle I've ever been to. I've been to other places where the atmosphere is just electric.
Well, the camp lifestyle leaves a little bit to be desired. It's very much a camp, but we're up here to work, so it provides everything that I need, and it is what it is.
I'm Jessica Green, reporting for Undercurrent.
Now that's all we have time for on tonight's show. Thank you for tuning into Undercurrent, and I will see you all next week on West TV.